Hello once again, my friends, my fellow modelers. I'd like to welcome you to another one of my videos. I hope you enjoy watching as much as I enjoy making them, because I think it's really fun and I love sharing my passions with new friends. Today is Labor Day weekend, and here in New England, I've always looked at it as kind of like the official kickoff to fall. You know, like Memorial Day is the official start to summer. Labor Day is the official end of summer. Well, I like to think that Columbus Day is the official kickoff of fall. We have the fairs, and we have a really cool fair in New England. It's in Fryeburg, Maine, the Fryeburg Fair, and I've loved that since I was a kid. That's really fun. And when it comes to Columbus Day, and again, I'm not going to get into the controversy or anything like that. This is just because of Columbus Day. I want to show you guys something that I got in relation to Columbus Day. Now, this is the ships back in 1492. Christopher Columbus was an explorer, and he was commissioned by King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella from Spain. He ended up sailing a small fleet of ships, and they were called the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria. He discovered North America, and eventually he ended up proving that the world was actually round and it was not flat. Anyway, when I had seen this model kit, I thought it was really cool, because I had some, when I was a kid, I had these ships, and I don't remember where I got them from, but they were like already made models, and they were models of the Nina, Pinta, and Santa Maria, and I had them on my bureau forever because I loved ships. Well, even back then I loved ships. And anyway, when I was going through looking for models of ships, I had seen this model kit, and I just thought this was so cool. And I can't believe, I actually got this for like $11 with free shipping. And I realized it was kind of vintage, so I'm like, okay, you know, I'm interested. And the significance of Columbus Day made it even cooler. So this is Christopher Columbus, and this at the time was the 500th anniversary. The authentic Scape base included with the kit. And this is LINDBERG from LINDBERG Models. And you can see it's got the paint and brush are already included, and we got 6 acrylic colors. And you can see the ships on the cover. So I think what I want to do is, you may be wondering, well, what's the big deal with Columbus Day? Like I said, I'm not going to get into the controversy or anything. I'm just going to explain to you guys in a little presentation. I'm going to show you guys what Columbus Day actually is. And then we're going to go to the desk and we're going to take a look in this model kit. When it comes to Columbus Day, as a kid growing up in New England, it had the significance of making the official start to fall. Much like Memorial Day is to kick off the summer and Labor Day is the official ending of summer, Columbus Day is for many a 3-day weekend or paid holiday, and it's the kickoff of the fall season. Although we enjoy the benefits of a 3-day weekend or the extra pay, many of us are unaware of why we consider setting aside a holiday to honor, or at the very least, acknowledge the man called Christopher Columbus. Here is a brief history on this historic figure. I am not going to attempt to get into any of the type of debate on what kind of person Christopher Columbus was. Instead, I am going to give a brief description of the history involved surrounding this man to this day. Christopher Columbus is Italian. He was born in Italy in 1491. As a lover of the ocean, Columbus first learned how to sail at age 14. He eventually became an entrepreneur and knew that anyone who could transport goods the fastest would become very wealthy. At the time, the Europeans would trade with goods with the Orient. The only way to transport these goods would be a land route. Christopher Columbus had a vision of sailing west to reach the Orient. Knowing this was going to be a very costly venture, he needed to find the backing financially that would allow him to make the journey. If he could prove that you could reach the Orient by sailing west, he would become famous, establishing trade routes that would make him very wealthy. This trip, as glorious as it would be if he was right, would be a total disaster if he became proven wrong. He decided to actually plan a route to Asia, heading westbound. The time period had maps that were inconsistent and somewhat unreliable when it came to charting courses in certain unknown areas of the world. Knowing this, many financial backers were understandably reluctant to give Columbus the financial backing he needed. In fact, it took 6 years to finally convince Queen Isabella and King Ferdinand to approve him financially. Spain would take the risk to back Columbus with the promise of expanding Spain's empire. On October 3, 1492, Christopher Columbus would depart southern Spain. He was in command of a total of 87 men. He would also command 3 sailing vessels, the Nina, the Pinta, and finally his flagship, the Santa Maria. On October 12, 1492, after 29 days at sea, Christopher Columbus and his ships would make landfall. Though he found land, he was nowhere near where he thought he'd be. He was hoping to find Asia, but that wouldn't be the case. In fact, he would be nearly 10,000 miles from the spot that he thought he would end up at. Eventually, the spot he and his ships made landfall at would later become the West Indies. He did suspect that the spot he was at was very close, or in fact, India itself. He would land on what are called today the Caribbean islands. He would call the island he was on San Salvador. He would later discover additional islands that would eventually be called Cuba and Hispaniola. Christopher Columbus would eventually return to Spain in March of 1493. He returned to present exotic plants, gold, and actual natives to the area, to the king. It is said that the natives were taken hostages and presented before the King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella as such. The king and queen were delighted with the results that Columbus had brought before them. Columbus was touted a hero and treated as so. As a result, Spain would continue to finance Christopher Columbus and his crew for future expeditions. During a time period that would span from 1493 to 1504, Columbus would make 3 more transatlantic crossings, each time bringing back more exotic items from the islands. In 1504, Christopher Columbus would make his last trip to the Caribbean. When Columbus returned, he was age 53 and in poor health. Columbus would eventually pass away in Spain on May 20th, 1506 at the age of 55. Although he never actually found the sea route to the Orient, his trips were still considered hugely successful. Though credited with discovering the Americas, this would seem truer when it came to the European point of view. Columbus and his ventures would in fact double the size of the planet or livable areas and establish trade between the continents. In 1937, President Theodore Roosevelt would officially proclaim October 12th as Columbus Day. Eventually, in 1971, President Richard Nixon would declare Columbus Day as a national holiday. This holiday has been observed ever since. Despite controversy to the type of man Columbus was, or the tactics he may have used against the indigenous peoples of the areas he was credited for discovering, Americans to this day can enjoy the pay, benefits, parades, and long weekends that his name is attached to. Okay, so we got a lot more room, and we got more light at the desk, and you can see the cover. It looks pretty cool in the light. And we've got the 3 ships, and I love the fact that it has the base, the ocean base. And again, we have the paints that are included. Looking at the ends of the box, you can see it's got the same illustration as on the cover. This is LINDBERG Model Kit number 70860, Columbus Discovers America Diorama Kit. It is the same on both ends of the box. And looking at the side of the box, you can see we have the same illustration. Again, we have the barcode, and you can see all the way to the left. Oh, that's too bad. There's a slight rip in the box that somebody taped. Base represents, and it's in a different language, authentic seascape base plus 6 acrylic paints and a brush included with this kit. Now, this kit was from 1991, so I don't know how good or fresh the paint is going to be. And looking at the other side of the box, you can see where it says printed and made in the USA, and this is from 1991. Copyright by Craft House Corporation. Instructions are in English, and they're also in 1, 2, 3, total of 4 languages. And it's got some information on the Nina, Pinta, and the Santa Maria. Christopher Columbus and his crew of 90 men sailed the uncharted Atlantic Ocean in search of a new water route to India in 1492. Columbus was supplied with 3 small boats, the flagship, the Santa Maria, the Nina, and the Pinta. The total cost for the boat suppliers and seamen's wages cost Queen Isabella and King Ferdinand about $14,000 US. Although not much is known about the actual boats, historians suppose the Santa Maria was about 85 to 90 feet long with a crew of 40 men. The Pinta's length was 75 feet and held a crew of 26 men. The Nina, which became the flagship after the Santa Maria, wrecked about 70 feet of water long. It was 70 feet long and had a beam of 23 feet and was manned by a crew of 24. So there's nothing on the back. So why don't we go ahead and we're going to take a look in this awesome, fun, I just love vintage kits. So the fact that even if it wasn't Columbus Day, I would have gotten this kit. And the first thing I notice is I love it. Look at the vacuum formed ocean. Kind of like, kind of like the sails. I've shown you the really old model kits like the Bounty that had the vacuum formed sails. And you can see the negative underwater view of the ships. So each ship, let me show you guys. So each ship, you're looking at just about 4 inches. Let's call it 4 inches long. And about 1 3/4 inches, 1.5 inches wide. The base itself, the total area that the base takes up is 10.25 inches long, and that would be by 8 3/4 inches wide. So it's a pretty good size, and again, for the price, I mean, this was $11. With the historical significance of that cruise or the that little fleet. We got the ocean, the vacuum form ocean, and this will be really fun to paint up. It's kind of like a base, and I wonder if there's a plaque or something that will go on there. But taking a look in the model kit itself, we got a couple of bags, and what I like is it looks like each ship is individually bagged. So let's look and see. We got the paint. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have light blue, I'm thinking that's for the water. We have white, it's probably for the sails and the white caps on the water. We have brown, obviously for the ships. We've got red, we've got yellow, and we've got green. And I wonder if this is specifically to mix a little bit with the blue for the ocean effect. The way they're made, pretty ingenious. What you do is you just squeeze the tabs together and it opens. So I'm going to open up the blue. Wow, look at this, guys. It's from 1991, and I bet you I can mix this up and we could use this paint. So let me close that back up. I love it. That was awesome. So guys, we can still use the paint. And that makes it, in my opinion, that makes it just as fun to have a vintage kit and be using everything included. So that's the paint. Awesome. Let's see if I can find a paintbrush. So far, I don't see the paintbrush. Ooh, I didn't expect that. We have rigging. I don't see a paintbrush, but if that's the only thing missing, I'm really not going to complain, especially for the price. Like I said, 11 bucks at free shipping. I don't know if this is like an expensive vintage kit. I have no idea, but it's just, to me, it's very fun. So look at, we've got rigging, and I love the fact that it comes with rigging. You can see the rigging on the models, and it's really fun. The rigging just, you can take a ship model and it just looks like a toy, but when you put the rigging on, it starts to actually look like a model, and that's what I like about it. Plus, it's really fun to do the rigging. I'm not very good at it, but I'm always looking to learn. And this is brown. Let me see if I can show you guys the brown thread. Oh, I can't seem to grab it. But I like the fact it comes with the rigging, and that was what, Atco? And it says F. So that's probably going to be referred to as F in the instructions. Alright, let's check out the first bag. And these are closed with tape. It looks like they would have come from the factory like that. So let's take everything out of the first bag. Alright, let's check it out. Looking at the first tree, we got the rat lines. And we got a flag, and hopefully you can see the eagle on the flag. A couple of them. Look at the little lifeboat, or the little dinghy. Got a lot of detail for something so tiny. Got another pole over there, and we have a nameplate. So this is the Nina, Columbus ship Nina. So I'm wondering if these are going to go on the base. Oh man, this is going to be a really fun kit. Alright, so this is the Nina. Let's take a look at the decks. You can see the woodwork, pretty good detailing. Again, it is 1991 and it is pretty small. You can see the ladders that go up towards the stern, and you can see the cargo hatch or the cargo area, and that looks like a staircase that goes below deck. And what's nice about this is you can either put it on the ocean or you can put it on its own stand and display it that way. And let's see if there's any inscriptions on the stand. There's not, but this says Copyright Craft House Corporation, and that's number 21. And let's see, looks like we have some railings. We've got a couple of the anchors, and I wonder if they had cannons. Yep, they got 4 of the little cannons that are going to go on. Is it going to go on the deck, or are they little doors that open on the side? I think they go on the deck. I don't think these ships are really large enough to have that, but they do have the cannons. Alright, let's take a look at her sails. And this looks very much like the Mayflower ship that I had done. I think that was in 1/250 scale, I think. But the Mayflower ship herself is really tiny. I've been there, and I got a video if you're interested in seeing her. But the sails are billowed, and you can see the cross indicating that these are Spanish ships. And I don't see one over there maybe that has the cross on it. Let's take a look at her hull. So you can see the the woodwork in the back at the stern. You can see she's got her rudder all the way on, and look at, you can see the wood. So these are going to be pretty fun. This is going to be a fun little kit, and it's going to be fun to paint these up and detail them. I've got so much going on right now, guys. I don't know when we're going to make these boats, but when we do, it'll be pretty fun. Because when it comes to an old vintage ship model, I've shown you guys the Waza, and I got to start that. I've also shown you the Cutty Sark, but the Waza, matter of fact, it reminds me I have a brand new book that I got on the Waza, so that's going to be an update on that model series. So that was the hull, and that was the Nina. So why don't we go ahead and we're going to open up the next bag. Again, this is an awesome shape. I'm just going to cut it because it's tough to open. If that is the original, which I don't think it is, but it was from 1991, so. All right. This one, it looks like it's just a little bit larger. Maybe this is the flagship. Maybe this is the Santa Maria. Looking at the first tree, yeah, this is the Santa Maria. So the Santa Maria would have been the flagship of the fleet. That would have been the larger, slightly larger one. Again, guys, none of these ships are very large. Look at the beautiful back where the captain's quarters would have been, where Christopher Columbus, no doubt, where his quarters would have been. Let me see. I'll show you guys the nameplate. Nice. Just the Mayflower has the same thing with the scrolls as well. As a matter of fact, the Mayflower that I showed you guys also is LINDBERG. You can see the masts with the flag on top. And you can see the cross on that one. And for $11 and change, I mean, it doesn't get much better than this. This is like a perfect, fun little project, maybe a weekend project that would have been fun to do if I would have started it. But I just have so much going on. And I got the new Enterprise, the shipment that I got in for the Enterprise D from Fan Home, but again, that's a whole other video. So this actually gives you the option, again, of putting it and mounting her to a base. And let's see, is that little plaque, can that fit on the base? You would put it on there. It can go on there, but I like the ocean. I think that's really a nice touch. You can see the ropes billowing, and you can see the cross once again. The signification of it being the flagship. All right. And let's see, we have the mast. Look at the beautiful inscription. Of course, the country of origin being Spain. And the cannons are a little bit larger. And you can see the lifeboat, and there's only one anchor for this ship. You can see the crow's nest. The other ship wasn't large enough to have a crow's nest. You can see this one has 3 decks going up to the stern. And when it comes to the cargo bays, there's 2 that we can see. And I'm thinking if that's where the bowsprit is going to go. Oh, no, that's the masts are going to go, and the bowsprit, of course, would come out the front. Or does it have a bowsprit? So the only one that has a bowsprit is the flagship, the Santa Maria. So this is going to be fun. That was the flagship, Christopher Columbus's ship himself, the Santa Maria. And lastly, we've got one more bag, and obviously this is going to be the Nina. And what's interesting about this is that it's all on one tree. So let's go ahead and open this up. Yeah, interesting how this is all on one tree. And this one is a little bit larger too. I guess the Nina, which one is this one? This is the Pinta. So I guess the Nina would be the smallest one, and the Santa Maria and the Pinta are the largest or larger of the 3. You can see again, it's got that beautiful grain woodworking, and when we do it, I think this is before the days where they started to put the copper on the bottom of the hull. I think yeah, this is 1492. So this is, yeah, I don't know if they had put the copper on the bottom of the ship, if it was just painted. If it even was painted, yeah, more than likely it was painted. But you can see the two anchors, and this one has 4 cannon, and you can see the areas where the cannon are going to come out. Again, this has the base, so if you want to mount the ship to the base instead of doing the ocean scene. I like the bases and I like the ocean. And of course there's always the option where we can just make them and use both. Whether it's, you know, you could take it off the water and put it onto the bases if you desire. You can see the deck. You can see all the way forward, and let's see, is that, I think that's where the bowsprit's going to go. We have the 3 levels. I think you can see the middle where the well deck. You can see the little steps that go down below deck, and the wood looks like, again, for the time period and the size of the model kit, is pretty detailed. Again, you can see the sails are billowed, which is why it would look really nice on the ocean. And we got the rat lines. And we got a couple of the masts. And again, you can see the cross on top. It would have been nice if that would have been a water slide decal. I don't think there are decals with this kit. I don't see any. And you can see the little dinghy or the lifeboat. But yeah, this was the Pinta, and everything was on one tree. And the only thing left in the box are the instructions. And again, this is kit number 70860. And this is Christopher Columbus at 500th anniversary. So let's take a look. Oh, and I see, oh cool. Look at this, guys. It's like a sticker that's gonna go onto the base. Wow, I love it. Is that peel and stick? It's a peel and stick sticker. 1492, 500th anniversary, which would have been back in 1992. The Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria. Columbus discovers America. So that's a nice touch. They do have stickers. Let's see what else they have in there. We've got, let's see, what is this? We can get our copy of the LINDBERG catalog. Love it. To LINDBERG Models, Craft House Corporation, P.O. Box 878, Toledo, Ohio, 43696. Of course, LINDBERG now is owned by Round 2, and they brought back a lot of the awesome LINDBERG models. I love Round 2, and I know I gush about them, and people have accused me of working for them, but I just love the fact that they brought back all these models from our childhood. It's just amazing. If you want well, this is back in 91. LINDBERG produces an extensive line of high-quality kits in a variety of categories. This wide selection of products gives you the opportunity of continuing your involvement in a creative and captivating hobby. Full color catalog showing the LINDBERG line of fine products is available for a price of $1. If you are unable to find your choice of kits at your local store, you may wish to order from LINDBERG, in which the event $1 catalog cost will be deducted from your purchase. A $1 rebate coupon will be included with your catalog. Allow 3 weeks for delivery. Offer good only in the continental United States. And remember, this is around 90. You know, the internet was around, but it wasn't as accessible like it is now, so they wouldn't have had a website. But they definitely, if I can find a picture of the catalog, I'll show you guys what it looked like. Let's see, is that everything? I think that's everything now, and we'll go and check out the instruction sheet. You got the important, read this before you begin, make sure identify the parts, test fit, things of that nature. You can pause it if you want to read it. And you can see the tree, or the key for the parts: cement, repeat, do not cement, upside down, cut out, things of that nature. Caution, not suitable for children under 3 years. Again, if you want to check it out, you can pause the video. So let's go right into the build. So we've got all 3 ships, and we've got stages for each one individually. So let's start off with the Nina. And that's the smallest of the ship. You can see we're going to put the railings on. And it looks like a post that's going to go out the back. The front is called the bowsprit. I'm not quite sure what that one is called, that comes off the stern. You can see we're putting it together. There's really not a lot of parts to these kits. So the biggest challenge to these models will be the painting. You can see the base that it's going to go on. We're putting on, you can see where the cannons are going to go, the rat lines, the masts, the anchor, and the dinghy. You can see the last thing we'll do is put on the sails. And the last thing we'll do is put on the rigging, so that's probably later on. So we move on to the Pinta now. And we're going to do the same thing. You can tell it's a little bit larger because there are 3 levels now, where this one, the Nina, only had 2. And I would love to do some research on these ships to see where they were built and what happened to them. If I can find any kind of a history on these ships, I'll do a video on the history of the Nina Pinta in Santa Maria. Just, if nothing, for the historical significance. You can see this one has a bowsprit. Coming down, we're putting the masts and the rat lines on. We're adding the cannons and the anchor. And on the bottom, we're putting on the sails, and she's going on to the base. Lastly, the Santa Maria, or the flagship. You can see it's the most decorated, and it's a larger, slightly larger than the other 2. We got the railings going on the main deck. We got the bowsprit going in, and you can see the rat lines. So I wonder if this is actually, we can do that with the rigging. That would make it just a little bit better looking than that. You can see they did use the rigging on the flagship. So you can see step 2 is we put the crow's nest onto the mast. We're putting the cannons on. And the flagship, of course, as you would think, would be most ornamental. And interestingly enough, they don't refer to the rigging at all in the model kit. But it's obviously there, it's on the box. So I don't think somebody threw this in. I think it's just, look at the box for a diagram. You can see the back has the Nina, Pinta, and Santa Maria. And you can see where they're going to go. It's showing the base, and that's where we're going to use the sticker. That's going to come into play, and that's going to go on the side of the base. For painting and rigging details, see the box cover. And then last, on the bottom, we have a map, the voyage of Christopher Columbus. You can see where the expedition originates in Spain, heads down to the Canary Islands, and then goes all the way across to San Salvador. And of course, that's Florida. This is North America. Eventually, this would be the United States. That would be Canada. And we got Cuba and the islands on the bottom. But that is the voyage of Christopher Columbus. And that's everything that's in the box to this pretty cool model kit. I'll tell you, man, every once in a while you get something really cool, like on eBay. I had no clue this kit existed, and I just happened to be looking for ship models, and this was about to end. It was an auction, and like I said, I got it for like $11. I won the bid. It was free shipping. The guy was really nice. I asked him, like I do with all my models, if he could package it well, because you know how the postal service can be, and he packed it really nice, and it just, he didn't know if it was complete, and the only thing missing is the paintbrush. Everything else is included with the kit, and again, that's I can't complain. I think it's great. And you can see some of the detail that's going to go on the flagship. We got the yellow, and we got the red, and we've got the green, and I don't know where the green is going to go, but we could use a little bit of the green to mix into the blue for the ocean, to show that it's nice and deep. And we got the yellow and the black. Do we have black? No, we don't have black. We've got dark brown. So when we would do this, I guess we could use black paint for it. But anyway, my friends, I hope you guys have the day off, and you can enjoy your long weekend. And if you guys were wondering why we even celebrate Columbus Day, I hope this helped out a little bit. And if you were curious about this model, I hope that helped as well. So my friends, until my next video, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate the kind words, and I'll talk to you soon.